Namaste, Jai Bharat. There had been conflict going on between, in the beginning, Israel and Hamas, and then Israel and Hezbollah, and Israel Houthi. All these things were going on for quite some time. The whole thing started for a year before, last year in October. Now, there's a possibility that Hezbollah and Israel conflict shall come to an end. See, our general confusion and doubt is that neither Hamas nor Hezbollah hold any land. Hamas, of course, in a technical sense, yes. But Hezbollah do not hold any land, nor do they belong to any nation. Normally, an army is supposed to defend. They call us defense system. Army, Navy, and Air Force, they are defense systems. And what do they defend? They defend a nation in all conventional understanding of things. But Hezbollah doesn't defend a nation. What do they defend? You know the question. What do they defend? The answer is there with you. What they're supposed to defend, but I don't think they have very clear concepts, and those who support them also do not have very clear concepts. They mostly envisage and imagine things and function towards that. Fundamentally and basically and ultimately, the whole thing aims at a concept of Darul Islam, which had remained a concept for quite some time in the hands of some people or in the minds of some people. Now, there is a kind of possibility of an agreement between Hezbollah and Israel. How did it start? Is Lebanon is the land which Hezbollah was using. Lebanon didn't have a very formidable kind of army. It was Hezbollah, and Hezbollah doesn't belong to Lebanon per se. It's a proxy army of Iran. So you see, the thing leads you to Iran. They support this proxy army. It's actually Hezbollah is Iran's proxy army. But they were using Lebanon land. So now Lebanon had disowned Hezbollah. Of course, it's a very it's too late for them to do it, but still better late than never. They have disowned Hezbollah, and once they disown Hezbollah won't have any ground to stand. And now Israel is, as per the verbatim understanding, now Israel is free to attack Hezbollah wherever they are. So in this agreement, a kind of free hand goes to Israel to attack Hezbollah anyway. And Hamas is almost over. Hezbollah's leaders have gone. They have no place to stand now. Lebanon is on. Turkey technically was supposed to take Hezbollah back, but I don't think it's quite possible, because if the nation is housing such a terrorist outfit, which is also a proxy army of a nation, then what is your significance as a nation? You won't be able to do anything. Lebanon was continuously under pressure for 40 years. It's not a joke. It took roughly 40 years for them to build Hezbollah, Iran to build Hezbollah and support. And supply them with arms, money, support, everything. And now Iran is facing trouble. They have internal problems. They always had internal problems. They had been only suppressing it to an extent unimaginable. And Lebanon used to be a Christian country once upon a time, Christian majority. That was the only Christian country in the Arab-speaking places once upon a time. But then the whole thing scenario changed. Now, Lebanon is likely to move into. See, they have disowned Hezbollah, and they should be giving freedom to Israel to attack wherever Hezbollah is there in their land, and they are likely to give information to Israel about the hideouts of Hezbollah in Lebanon, because Lebanon said, we'll have nothing to do with you. You may go. And in return, Lebanon don't have a normal formidable army. So Israel would train the army of Lebanon to train them into a formidable army. So they don't have a real army, they have an army for namesake in all likelihood. So with the disarming of Hezbollah, where Hezbollah should go away from Lebanon, go away means I don't understand how they will do it. They will be prisoners in any case, whosoever is doing it. Not likely in Lebanon, but now with the cessation of Hezbollah, Lebanon can have their own legitimate army, and Israel offers that we'll train your army. So that's there. So Lebanon can slowly. Lebanon was a very good country, very rich country once upon a time. It was a wonderful place where people used to go for, the tourists used to go plenty once upon a time. All those things were destroyed by these outfits, proxy army, which is actually terrorist outfits. And now Lebanon has to build up their nation. They might go into democracy, and if they go to democracy, there's a possibility that European nations will support Lebanon in recreating or rebuilding Lebanon in a civilized manner. And Iran is already in great difficulty. If things go right, then Iran also might undergo some political change, and they could become Persia once more, as it used to be the case once upon a time. And if these things work out, Middle East can become a peaceful place. But with the agreement of ceasefire agreement, if there is one which gets signed, it's possible there are already discussions going. If there is a ceasefire agreement, there are also the clauses in the agreement that Israel is free to attack Hezbollah, which would extend into any terrorist group in Middle East area. Israel has got that freedom. Previously, only US used to self-assume such a role of attacking anyone for a legitimate price, legitimate cause, etc. But now Israel also is given that kind of freedom in that area. So the terrorism can at least get seriously and heavily subsided in Middle East. This possibility is there. So there can be a possibility of peace and comfort and tranquility. So Lebanon is supposed to give information to Israel, and Israel is supposed to can take care of things of their own. And between Syria and Lebanon, they are trying to destroy the connectivities like bridges, etc., so that these people can't just reach Lebanon from Syria. So those things are also in the discussion. So there's ultimately a possibility of ceasefire agreement between Hezbollah and Lebanon. Now, let's do a bit of retrospective. How it all started. Hamas used to be very formidable once upon a time. They just attacked Israel indiscriminately, all on a sudden, without any warning, information, anything, which of course could be treated and understood as a failure of intelligence on the part of Israel. Possible because they have taken things for granted. They the peace for granted. Normally they don't, but I don't know. This just happened, a slip. They began, and I have not yet understood what objective they wanted to achieve in attacking Israel in last year, October 7th. But the point is that they did it. Then the retaliation begins, the reaction begins, counterattack begins, and after a year you see Hamas is practically no more. One very practical thing Israel did was target the leaders, not simply killing people, target the leaders. All the leaders were eliminated, neutralized, one by one. Same, of course, this is what happened this is the beginning, Hamas. Then suddenly Hezbollah comes out to support Hamas. Hezbollah had nothing against Israel till that time. But when Hamas was getting smothered, Hezbollah comes out. And Hezbollah thought they will be able to do something. and achieve whatever objective these people have. Maybe they must have designed a common objective, I don't know. And this is the situation in Hezbollah. Then Hezbollah's leaders, top leaders, were getting neutralized. Now they have no place to stay since Lebanon disowns. Actually, it's a blessing in disguise for Lebanon. Lebanon must have been definitely under pressure. The people of Lebanon I'm not talking about the administration. I don't know how they are actually. But the people of Lebanon were under heavy pressure. They were a once free society, once civilized society. They were under heavy pressure with Hezbollah around, moving around, dictating terms and conditions to the civilian society of Lebanon, the civil society of Lebanon. So they must have been under serious pressure and helpless utterly. So they will now heave a sigh of relief with the Hezbollah going. They are back. They are at least controlled by their own people. So if the Hezbollah factor is withdrawn, Lebanon can become free. So the people of Lebanon can at least hope for a better life, better future. Their entire cities were destroyed just because of this operations of this Hezbollah. It's Hezbollah who is sending missiles, so the attack comes back to them, and they're using human shields, they're using your apartments, they're using your hospitals, they're using your schools. And Israel has to attack all these places, and eventually what happens? At least Israel is doing one thing. Israel is giving warning to people that we are going to attack. You move, civilians move. All those things at least they did. It means they were conscious. Everyone knew that Hezbollah or Hamas, they keep civilians in front, or they keep children in front. They keep women and children in front, and they attack from behind. Kind of heroism, it seems, anyway. So now that is gone, the Lebanese people can aspire for a civilized existence, a possibly democracy in future. And same thing can happen to Iran if things go in the right direction. And with these two things happening, there's a possibility also that America can have a base somewhere there, one more base. America is keeping their base to keep peace. That's what they at least say. And one more base coming there means there's a possibility of suppression or control of these insurgent groups coming up indiscriminately and uncontrolled by anyone. So this is a good indication to the world peace. Hopefully things will work out. Let's hope things will work out better and the Middle East can return to peace. So we shall meet again with some other thought. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Shri Ram.